What's up, guys? Welcome to another stream. How are you guys doing? Today is the 3rd of June already, so it's almost half of the month, beginning of a new month. I hope you guys had a great month of May. It's that time of the month to do our own analysis, review our performance for the month. I'm going to do that over the weekend. I haven't done that yet for the month of May, so we'll see. I hope you guys do the same as well. It's important. It's the only way actually to keep progressing and to achieve the consistency and the results that you are looking for. You need to take that accountability and to look for own performance. See what's good, so it's what needs to be improved, and so on and so forth. So welcome. Today, as you know, Saturday I always go around, do weekly market analysis. I kind of look for possible setups for the week ahead. What can we look at? Interesting week. Quite volatile. Few important data that came out over the week, mainly in regard to the labor market. Another really strong data. NFP, even the job openings and the EDP non-farm payrolls also, it was quite strong. The unemployment claims also, it's not bad, still in that range of 230k or something like that. The debt ceiling was an agreement between parties, so now that's postponed for 2025. Whoever is going to be in charge by then, maybe new president. We'll see what's going to happen. So that's done as well. That's what the market has been doing. Indices going to the upside, dollar initially to the downside. Yesterday it recovered a little bit with the NFP. So yeah, let's see today. Again, we go around FX. So we start with the dollar index, then eventually go into individual currency pairs, the major FX pairs, maybe some minor ones, commodities as well. We check gold and oil, the indices, S&P, NASDAQ, and maybe DAX as well, and then we've almost finished with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So feel free to share any levels that you are looking for. Let's discuss the zones. Mainly we are looking for opportunities for next week, and where can you find those zones for the week ahead, right? So dollar index, interesting moving here, right? So we were expecting throughout the week, we were kind of expecting a little bit of a correction on the dollar. On the daily time frame, it was a good level overall, where the highs reacted from. So it was this zone in here that week was still fresh, and we had that correction. And where did price goes to? Just literally from basically this week all the way to this week, and that was basically everything that was done in here. This week was touching there. Then we had that one, so everything was looking at a higher time frame. The levels themselves can make a little bit of sense. Then it's everything in between, right? What you can see then on the lower time frame, and maybe where those opportunities were in the market. So nice reaction, nice move to the downside. This was Thursday. Thursday actually was a big miss for me. I missed the longs on the euro, on the pound. I approached the London Open with the right approach. I was bullish, kind of bearish on the dollar, bullish on the other ones. And I was actually expecting some kind of trending day. But yeah, I did miss those entries at the opening, or close to the opening. And yeah, after that it was just literally a rally on pound and euro and the other FX pairs, dollar pairs, and it was a negative move on the dollar. Interesting. And then it was regards to the NFP, right? So apparently we were really close to this lows yesterday. Yeah, the price action on the in here, it was okay. It was not bad. DPI, if you actually then investigate in the lower time frame, it was not bad at all. Maybe what happened in here, I just didn't like the levels on where the pound maybe was reacting. It was really at the extreme, so I actually wanted to see that zone being taken and then price dropping. And on the euro as well, I wanted yeah, I wanted a little bit higher, to be honest, on the euro. I didn't like the way actually price created that range, in this case the highs, and didn't move at all. Like our morning didn't move, just stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. There was no fake out, no nothing, and price just kind of dropped and kind of retest, and it moved, right, similar to what happening here. On the very next, at least we had a little bit of a break of a high. We had some kind of break of a lows. It was actually a little bit more in terms of the PI. It was a little bit better in terms of showing a little bit reversals setup. The zone itself as well on the left side was not it was not bad. Yeah, then during the news, didn't really manage to be focusing the market around this time. But yeah, interesting. Our price kind of left decent behind. Price went there and now reacted. Kind of reacted already from here. If not, maybe there's still in here some long opportunities whenever price goes there. Maybe for another, at least some reaction. Maybe there's something in here on the dollar. Now let's take a look at the dollar for the next week. And yeah, overall, to be honest, I'm not sure if this is kind of the final zone in there, or if price actually wants to go a little bit higher. I could still see eventually even price taking this high and price maybe getting to this level. That could be maybe one of the destinations of this rally. Now, meanwhile, it was a little bit overdue, the deep retracement, and that happened. So we retested the next level of structure. You guys remember that this zone in here was one of the targets for the longs, right? So we're looking for price to, especially when it broke that and kind of confirmed the move to the upside. This level, the end of this compression here, was one of the levels that we were looking for a long from this level. So if this level itself is a good zone, or and it separates kind of the level kind of between from here and all the way from this in here, yeah, if this is a good zone as a target, eventually that can be kind of created a little bit in here, a potential reaction whenever price reacts to that level, right? So that's exactly what happened. So looking at these extremes, these edges can be interesting, and price usually tends to react from there. And yeah, there was this level in here created. There you go. Dollar reacted from it. Looking at this 4-hour time frame, maybe this level can be interesting for a little bit of a reaction. There are now, if by any chance, okay, let's do it this way. Bigger picture, I think dollar still wants to go a little bit higher. I don't, not sure if this is the level that dollar is going to kind of from here go all the way, kind of all the way down. So that's kind of my first bias. Now, with that in mind, I'm okay then seeing for price to go higher. Now, if by any chance I'm still looking for any reaction within this level, right? In particular, maybe somewhere in here, maybe in here could be one of those. Kind of there was kind of a decision point created around this level last Thursday with the news, and then price kind of decided to go back again. So there's maybe something in here that could hold a little bit price, and then the last zone itself, it could be somewhere in here, right? Because this high, it stayed quite far away from the extreme in here, and you have literally still these left shoulders in here, right? So something in there, price could still have some kind of reaction and then react to the downside. So yeah, this level in here, it was good. Something in there could the price actually is reacting a little bit from there. So let's see how price is going to open next Monday, and then yes, then price could even go much higher, maybe even take this high and get a little bit closer to this extreme in here, in alignment with these highs. So that's something that can happen, or kind of the zones in here on the dollar index that I'll be maybe looking for. Yeah, that level, have all this. Now, is there anything in here a little bit higher that price can still react from? We do have all this structure in here, and there's maybe something in here as well. Yeah, maybe. I'm just trying to see here on the war time frame. Yeah, maybe that one. Maybe in here can be something as well. This one. Yeah, perhaps. So let's see what's going to happen in here on the dollar index. This one can remove it. Yeah, I think there can be still some kind of reaction from there. And then aside from that, then it will be higher. All right, then it will be looking a little bit higher in here, and there's maybe some reaction eventually to look for. All right, so just two, three levels. Now, is this moving here and then go to the downside on the dollar? Yeah, we didn't manage to break this out this was in here, but I think we kind of just filled the next zone that was still fresh, kind of something in here that was still fresh, and I think that's kind of a normal move, and price eventually is going to maybe create and break the highs. I'm going to be open-minded, right? We are getting closer to these highs, so if by any chance the price wants to create new lows, then maybe can aim to go maybe all the way there. But maybe there's something in here that I think this is kind of a normal reaction before maybe price resume the move to the upside until maybe gets closer to a little bit even higher to the extremes. Let's see what's going to happen. Intraday levels, there's maybe something here to see price reacting from. Even in here, based on all this movement that occurred. Maybe even in here at the lows again can be some kind of opportunity. All right, we kind of have this kind of potential closing model there. Then of course we have this zone in here that can be still maybe used. Did price reacted from there? 1 second. Maybe not. Maybe price hasn't really reacted from the zone. Yep, so we had this highs touching in here, we have that level, this something in here, so there may be something in here. Price can even again retrace all the way and go, for example, breaking this walls in here. It's kind of a zone that matters in here. It's maybe starting to be this separation. Let's see what the dollar is going to do somewhere in there. Yeah, so a few zones. I'm looking forward to see what price and how price is going to open next Monday in here. So looking now at the indices. By the way, let me know, guys, what you think about the dollar. What is your bias? And there you go. Indices and S&P is basically now almost repeating the move that NASDAQ did when it was approaching these levels. It kind of ranged a little bit below that, and all of a sudden it had a big spike to the upside. So here we are. S&P has been literally lagging comparing with the NASDAQ, and we are reacting now from this highs back from August, right? So this is where we are reacting right now with the momentum that is in here. There's maybe some kind of probability that price actually is going to eventually break out these highs. This was one of the favorite zones, but price literally took the zone straight away on the way down, right? So it was taken. If this level was still fresh, that could be a great level to look for a reaction. Now kind of it took this high. Now price kind of is reacting a little bit from that extreme. This is the extreme of the extreme. So is price even trying to aim to get there and have some kind of reaction? Maybe price can have some kind of reaction from here. But nevertheless, and the S&P has been one of those that in reality we do have kind of this structure in here just above this high, and that's maybe where it maybe can have some kind of reaction in here, right? So we can see how this high being faked out, being taken, and price can react all the way from the next zone, which is a little bit more within this level. So let's see, we have this one in here, for example. It's going to be actually where I'm going to set up this one. Yeah, this high is never reacted from there. So yep, let's see if that can be one level in there to look for. Okay, damn it, this the same thing. Yeah, so something in there could be this one maybe. Yeah, that's kind of becoming 4,379, something like that. In here on S&P can be interesting, or the base of this can also be interesting. Like at the base of these levels, usually price tends to have some kind of reaction as well. So yeah, kind of have the extreme of the extreme, maybe a little bit of a reaction. Otherwise, price may just go and take out the highs and go a little bit higher in there. Now, really strong the indices, even on the way price was kind of moving. Yep, this one went all the way to the extreme in here with the news, and then just continued to the upside. This level kind of reacted from the base of this, or got really close, right? You have this zone in here. So that was another one. So it's been so volatile that even if you are looking for shorts, even aiming for some kind of reversals, you still have those opportunities during the week. But eventually price has been, or the bulls in this case, has been managing to always push price higher and break new highs. And that's the kind of move that we have in here on the S&P. We never managed to break this wall, so that was a concern. Price eventually went higher. Yeah, so again, are you taking this highs? And my next level is going to be in there. I'm not going to look at this point for anything above that. I think if that happens, then I'll reassess. For now, this is my key zone in here on the S&P. That's kind of where I'm going to be looking for potential reaction from price. NASDAQ, as you know, NASDAQ has already broken those highs from August, right? So there you go, and it broke kind of with some momentum as well. Then it found some kind of structure initially, went down, retest from the kind of the demand zone that managed to break the highs, and since then has been bullish in here. So it reacted quite nicely from this decision point, also in alignment with all these highs, right? So the structure that was the demand basically that broke out this structure in here, and then eventually price went there and reacted from. Like we have literally this zone in here. This demand zone is kind of left behind. Now this is compressed, react from there, and it moved higher. We kind of needed at least these walls to be broken in order to see an engulf to the downside. It was not. There you go. Resume to the upside, reacted again, and there you go. And it's room, and it goes. Now it's reacting from good levels, so kind of from an interesting zone in here as well, right? So the bigger picture, NASDAQ, where are you looking for, right? So maybe something in here can be interesting. In the end, if price actually wants to go all the way through and maybe target all these double tops in here, these highs, we may go even higher than that and go all the way to the origin of this. That can be, whenever price gets there, I think there's going to be some kind of reaction, even if it's just from here to here. There can be some kind of reaction in there. And then we have kind of the base of this highs never really reacted from there. That can be also another zone that can be interesting. And then maybe something else a little bit in there. But yes, this value in here can be quite interesting. At this point, we are reacting from, or approaching, and they actually finished the week reacting from this supply zone. Initially it was a little bit this level, and now it's actually this one, the extreme in here. This is where price is reacting. We have all this structure, all these highs. They may be faked out eventually. There's one zone just next to it. Can I go? No, I cannot. 15 minutes. It's the maximum I can go. Yeah, there may be a zone just above this highs that maybe price can react from, and eventually price could just continue. To go higher a little bit there. Yeah, let's see what may happen in here. We have a little bit of this manipulation, but yeah, price kind of respected that level, so that's done. And then kind of we break below that somewhere in here. So let's see if there's some kind of reaction around that level and kind of what we are looking for. On the every time frame, it may looks nice. So on the hour time frame is about kind of finding, are you going to go a little bit above that level? T1, can I go to? Yeah, I cannot. 15 of April. When was that? 6th of April. So I cannot get there on the word. Just 15 minutes is the maximum I can go. There's maybe something in here. Yeah, this is a quasi-model level. Price didn't really reacted from there. Of course, then you have that. Maybe something in here. There's maybe something in there that price can react from. For now, nice reaction. Again, a little bit maybe breaks. Again, we can have maybe a retracement. We can next target eventually when you do have a sell. It's going to be all the way here. If you do break below these walls, that's a different conversation that you can have. And I'll have this trend line as well. But yeah, we kind of need to break slightly below something. In particular, if you by any chance start having some momentum downside, you can even react from there. And then we can aim towards here. And from here, then we need to reassess to see if by any chance we're going to have another move up or not. So let's see what may happen in here on the NASDAQ. Yep, again bullish, but there have been some opportunities as well to look for sales. Yeah. Dow, great. All right, Dow. So Dow is reacting on the daily time frame. You can see basically where it's reacting from, right? It's from here. Yeah. Thank you, Tekin, for subscribing, man. Thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. Feel free to share anything, any pairs, assets that you trade or levels that you are looking for. Feel free to comment. Yeah, so NASDAQ Dow Jones reacted quite nicely from here. Yep. So that's kind of a good zone to expect some kind of reaction. We have been a little bit bearish, right? But this is a good level. Eventually, the next one, if price would go kind of a little bit deeper into it, it will be something in there. This in here has been a zone that I've been looking for price to get to, right? Maybe something above this highs. We are literally about to do that. We are about to go above this size, and maybe something in here can be maybe some sell opportunity. Now we did have this double bottom, sorry. Nice reaction. Yep. All right. What matters now is a little bit of the approach, right? We want to see. Yeah, we can see maybe the highs taking it, maybe some reaction from this previous level of support resistance, then maybe continuation, but eventually we want to see some kind of weakness. There's maybe this level, and there's maybe that level in here, where maybe Dow can have some kind of reaction. But yeah, I would like to see. So this level of support resistance needs to be taken. Price needs to kind of respect that level, and that can be maybe a good trend continuation setup, if that's what you are looking for. Then when you take maybe all these highs in here, the first instance, maybe you can have maybe the first retracement, and yeah, and then I want to start seeing some weakness. So one of the levels can be somewhere in there, or then the extension in here, right? So there you go. The approach is going to matter to see how price is going to eventually behave in there, and eventually the same way that we kind of had this strong move to the upside. Again, everything was compressed, so it was easy to eventually make out that strong move, but the same way that it goes quickly to the upside, it can maybe eventually go quickly to the downside as well. This is another zone that can still hold price. Like we have this one. Let me just delete this one. So we have this previous level of support resistance, and then we have all these other next level in here. You can see how many times price has been respecting these levels. We have this quasi model in here, kind of this manipulation, and in here it's a level that price should have been respected, and actually it was a little bit, but then price kind of ignored and just continue, right? So something in here can also be interesting to see a potential zone, and then of course this level, right? So there you go. We have at least already maybe two, three levels that can hold price, and then of course if price starts moving down, maybe something a little bit in there, right? So yeah, just 2-3 levels to pay attention to, that can hold price a little bit in here on the Dow. But yeah, I've been waiting for that. I was already waiting for price to get closer to this level when we are here, right? This for me was even maybe even clearing off to downside. So let's see eventually when you get there and what may happen in here. Maybe it goes in alignment with maybe some sales on the other indices. And then you have DAX, right? DAX has been quite, the moves have been amazing. The type of price action that we have been having all the way here has been quite clear, to be honest. So we fake out that double top all-time highs in here. After that, we managed to take the low, right? As I mentioned so many times, when you are looking for that fake out setup, try to find which one is the range, the decision that actually makes the break to the upside, right? And if by any chance price starts to kind of reject, and eventually when it breaks that structure, that's kind of the moment to kind of confirmation that maybe this is not a breakout setup, it's actually kind of a fake out. We had that break in here, and then kind of maybe somewhere in there would have tried to look for some kind of short opportunity with the target. Everything in here was compressed. This was one of the targets. This is literally the extreme. Can look at the daily time frame, can look at the daily time frame. You can see that this was still fresh in there. You can look at the 4 hour as well in here. All that extreme, right? Because all this in here has been taken. Initially we still respected a little bit, kind of created double low, triple low, but eventually the spike occurred into the next fresh level. So yeah, now are you going to now resume to the upside? Are you going to continue and create another all-time highs? It's a little bit tricky, right, when you're trying to predict if this is kind of the top or not, because there's nothing on the left side to give us some confluence, some ideas. So yeah, it's a bit tricky, right? All-time highs, they are tricky to trade. In the moment, maybe you can do that, right? After it's created, maybe if you find it PA, you can go for it. But when price starts approaching this level, is like there is, for example, in here, there's still orders in there that price can use. But anytime you approach some kind of all-time highs, there's always the risk of price making another push, creating a new all-time high, and then kind of moving down again. So let's see what the DAX is going to do. But yeah, how this move down, it was quite nice to see. All right, so now looking at the other currency pairs that we usually look for, which is the Euro index and the Yen index, right? If you guys are still not analyzing these two indices, I'll definitely recommend you to do so. Especially if you are trading FX, I'll definitely recommend you to do so. So starting with the Euro index, we had created this range, right? We were kind of stuck within this range for almost a full month, or kind of since basically the middle of May all the way until the end of May, until finally we started breaking some lows, respected the demand, the supply, and then kind of finally moved to downside. And we are now into this level. So this is the question: are you going to kind of resume the move down? Are you going to kind of respect something here and finally kind of break a little bit? That can be seen as well of what the euro dollar may do, right? Even though all this moving here is not exactly just based on the euro dollar, it's actually kind of splitted within all the euro pairs, from the euro yen, euro Aussie, euro pound, euro CAD, euro dollar, like euro Aussie, like all of them, they have its own weight into this index, and that's why we haven't really created maybe a momentum, right? Maybe you have euro dollar maybe going to the downside, but then you have maybe euro Aussie going to the upside, euro CAD maybe was going to the upside as well, or euro yen has been one of that has been kind of moving to the upside, and then you have this range. That's why you had get stuck into here. Thursday was the day that we actually had this kind of strong move to the downside, no, to the upside, sorry, which was when the euro also went to the upside. So let's see, are we eventually, I think we can go a little bit closer. We can go maybe somewhere retest these lows, but this is still kind of an important level of structure, right? In respect of this previous level of SR, we have these lows in here. So yeah, as long as these highs keep holding price, we may continue to see this euro index moving to the downside. if you do manage to break above that level, then maybe finally you can have euro making a proper move in here, right? So let's see. But to be honest, since the beginning of May, when you had ECB, that was a clear move on the euro. Kind of that's when you had this big momentum, and on that day, it was the ECB press conference. That's when you literally saw all the euro pairs literally crashing, right? And you have kind of follow up kind of the next day. But since then, we really haven't really seen too much confluence on the euro pairs. So let's see when that momentum is going to happen again. And then the yen, yeah, the yen has been quite interesting, right? Much better, to be honest. Good volatility around the yen pairs. We managed to again last week we managed to slightly take this low. Since then we moved to the upside, and there you go. We retested the next level. There was still fresh supply in there. This one never touched it. So we reacted from here, right? So we were aware of that situation, and when price eventually got there, that was the moment to stop being. So if you guys don't know, this one is the opposite, right? If this yen index is moving upwards, the dollar yen, euro yen, and so on, they are moving downwards, right? So when this reaching here and you now start expecting this one to move to downside, that's maybe the moment to reverse also and start actually looking for longs, maybe on the euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen, and so on. Right, that's kind of what we're looking for. And now curious to see just how price would react from this level. Bigger picture. We may go all the way, and this is my actually favorite zone, kind of a little bit with this demand zone. That's kind of where eventually I can see this yen pairs or this yen index go to. But first we need to kind of break this wall once again, and from here we may have a little bit of a correction before that happens. So it's something to pay attention to also. And next Monday when the market opens, being aware that, as you can see in here, and then of course in there, right? So in here back in, I think it was end of September or middle of September, yeah, 22nd of September. This was when last year when the BOJ intervened for the first time last year, and we saw a big reaction on the end pairs, right? So that was the first impact. The dollar yen, if not mistaken, was at around 145 mark. The yen index was around this level, and we had the BOJ interviewing. So we had the big momentum and the big move on the ends to the dollar yen to the downside. In this case, the yen to the upside. So yeah, so bear in mind that we are getting closer to that level once again. And I think, if not mistaken, I think last week there was maybe a meeting called up in the Bank of Japan, kind of an urgent meeting, kind of maybe to start discussing maybe potential situations like this. And then we had the other one, and this is I think this one, it happened 2 times. It was not just one, it was kind of almost 2 in a row. Maybe it's separated by 1 or 2 days or something like that. Basically 1 month later, when you had another 2 interventions by the Bank of Japan, and that finally managed to push literally the yen to the upside, right? So yeah, that was at the extreme when I think dollar yen was maybe at 150 something, whatever, at the highs where we've seen a bit. So just have that in mind, that if we by any chance start approaching these levels, or 145 for example on the dollar yen, we may start having those conversations happening again, and the risk of another intervention by the Bank of Japan. Yeah, again, this is actually, and it kind of aligns a little bit maybe with the zone that I'm looking for. So yeah, it's going to matter how price is going to approach there. So showing a little bit of a compression, maybe starting to compress a little bit until maybe some kind of push. Let's see. First, we need to break this wall, and that's something that I'll be paying attention to on the end. Yeah, so here we are. Let's take a look at the individual currency pairs, starting with euro dollar, as we usually do. So So what's your take, guys, on euro dollar? What levels are you looking for? What do you think is going to happen in here? So looking at euro dollar, and where was the beginning of the week, right? So beginning of the week, it was somewhere in here on the 29, right? We started the week basically breaking a little bit of the highs and then kind of continue to the downside. This was kind of the move last Friday, then it break the low, retrace a little bit, and kind of continue. So we started to have some breaks of our highs, to be honest, in here. So that starts showing a little bit of weakness from the sellers, and maybe the buyers starting to get a little bit in control. And you had the first reaction a little bit from here, and then we kind of went all the way through into here. I think we actually mentioned this level last week. Last week, I think I went a little bit in more detail of identifying some levels. We noticed that this was kind of the end of the compression, and somewhere in here in alignment with this zone, I think we kind of actually mentioned exactly this zone where actually the euro created this this low. If I'm not mistaken, you can rewatch previous last week stream to kind of confirm. But this was the really good demand at the lows. Now, is this the final destination for the move in here? And the euro, is the euro going to now just continue to go higher, or is there a risk for price to go a little bit lower before maybe that final turn? Right, that's kind of a little bit of the question. Personally, and looking at also at the dollar, I'm a little bit in that with that bias. I don't think this is still kind of the bottom. I think there's maybe a little bit more room to the downside. We can eventually even take these lows, to be honest. But yeah, it's a good zone, good reaction. The bigger picture, I think maybe can go a little bit lower. Now, the reaction from here, it happened quite quickly. It was in the evening, Wednesday evening. There was not exactly, as you can see, it was like what, 6 p.m, 6 something after 6 p.m. Yeah, UK time, and it happened quite quickly. Not exactly kind of even kind of retest of that level, and not even kind of retesting here. Kind of just turn. And when I saw that, then I was thinking that the day after it would be a great opportunity to look for a trend continuation, right? And that's kind of what I was looking for exactly on Thursday. Kind of a zone 2 move. I think you're kind of trying to separate the trend in 2 zones. Kind of on zone 1, it will be the bottom. Zone 2 is kind of the second leg. It's a little bit of maybe a range. We always target one low to fake out before maybe the move upwards, and then that goes with momentum. And kind of zone 3 starts a little bit of compression again. It's kind of different. Price for some reason doesn't manage to break any lows, and then kind of zone 4 we finally have the turn, and it goes like that. We were kind of expecting a little bit zone 2. This was the low that they target. Unfortunately, I did miss the entry in here to go long. Reason for that is because we started to break some highs, as you can see. So the bias to go long, it was starting to be in there. We have also this kind of left shoulders. There was in here, of course, there is the extreme of the extreme, but sometimes they do leave the extreme for the future. And there you go. We target, we fake out this low. I was actually looking slightly lower, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was in here. Yeah, that's actually the line that I was looking for. Still fake out this low, but initially it was somewhere in here, if not mistaken. On the tick charts, I think there's even a small gap in there where I wanted, and price just paused slightly above that. Yeah, there was maybe an opportunity, especially after we broke that these highs. Maybe in here could have gone long. In here as well. Unfortunately, price never touched it. Maybe there's a potential setup in here still in the future. We'll see. But yeah, Thursday, it was actually that day to literally look for eventually price to fill out this. I was looking for price to fill kind of those breakover highs and to go all the way through. Daily time frame, this was kind of still a little bit of a week. We start having a little bit closer to these zones, and that's kind of where I was looking for. Now, to be honest with you, I was yeah, price managed to go all the way and take this high. Okay, this was a demand zone, and it's kind of those tricky situations, right? The zone that I was looking for yesterday, and that's why kind of I stayed literally away from from the euro, it was a little bit higher. It was in here. That's where I was looking for the NFP. Something in there. Price literally in this 1 hour time frame, maybe you can see that maybe there was this demand zone. Price ignored it on the way down, and to be honest, this is a level that maybe you can pay attention to it. It's also a zone that created this level and price a decision point to break out these lows. So it's a swap zone. It's an important zone, to be honest. But in terms of the news and the way price created or kind of pause in there yesterday, kind of literally since the London Open, that price just stayed in here, and I was expecting kind of that fake out, right? That usually happens with the NFPs, kind of fake out upwards, or at least during the day, even kind of maybe 10, 11, maybe just that last move upwards to shake out and to fake out all these highs in here. I think they kind of, it looks like the ITs yesterday, or the big boys, they were kind of a little bit lazy to not collect the liquidity from these guys. It is what it is. We had this range. Okay, we broke maybe slightly this low even before that, but yeah, nothing much. The liquidity was not created in there. Yeah, so what we have also that aside from that, yes, I was looking for the euro to go a bit higher, didn't go, so I literally missed everything. Initial reaction, it was okay. In here with the news, support resistance also. Yeah, in here, okay, it was actually nice because we do fake out all these highs, reaction, and then move down. So even in here, maybe that's something that could be maybe another opportunity in here in this KM now. In the future, let's see how price is going to react from there. So the movement actually after the news, it was okay. This is nice. There you go. The manipulation happening here, but I wanted to see kind of in there. It didn't really happen, but it happened in here because we have that move down. Maybe people were looking for shorts still in here, and all of a sudden we fake out because this level kind of is still fresh, and that was a nice little move, right? You can literally see which time frame can we use. Yeah, we can see that basically we have all this accumulation of highs in here, and all of a sudden you have just fake out into this level and price turns. Yeah. So what next for the euro? So this level in here, it was already taken. Now, is there anything still in here? This was Thursday as well with the news. That maybe still this demand zone that maybe price can go to. That's one of the levels. Yeah, price just respected this level in here with the news on Thursday. That may be something in there. Yeah, could work. This low may have distracted from there, not from the demand, so that can be something to look for. And then as we continue to move down, maybe again that zone in here, that this was again never really reacted from the demand zone, so that can be a little bit of the next zone. The price is somewhere reacting at this level, so I'm not really sure now. Let's see on Monday. I think we may go a little bit lower, at least getting closer to this level once again, and then let's see what's going to happen next. We do have a little bit of a compression in here. Is there something in there also for price to go and react from? Maybe if price can overtest a little bit the highs, there's maybe something in there. Of course, something in here at the extreme as well, maybe. Let's see how price opens and how it reacts from this level, and if it wants to continue to go higher or not. We did take all these zones in here. Are we going to do this? Kind of yes or no? Maybe can go all the way until there. I think this level also is the daily open. Yeah, somewhere around with this level, we have this left shoulder as well. It's going to be interesting to see what may happen on the euro. Bigger picture, I wouldn't mind to see kind of similar to the dollar. I wouldn't mind to see maybe price going a little bit lower. Even this level in here can be interesting. For example, on the 4-hour time frame, actually below the level that we are right now, there can be something in there. Like it's still fresh. It's a zone that is still fresh. It also has a little bit of this zone. So this 106.259, something like that, can maybe be interesting. But as you go a little bit more into the war time frame, it looks like it has been already spiked, so it may not be as relevant. But on the 4-hour and 1 hour, it may looks nice. Just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, let's see what the euro is going to do. Yeah, now this one, yeah, it was a little bit of a frustration to be honest. Yesterday, in terms of, I actually do like to trade news. These big news events can be CPIs, can be NFPs. Yeah, I do like to trade them, and FOMCs as well, ECB press conference. Of course, those you trade a little bit different, comparing with when it's just literally data release, comparing with something that then's going to have a press conference. And yeah, I didn't execute anything yesterday because I didn't like what price was doing. Yeah, so this was the euro. Let's see what may happen next week. Are you going to resume the move to the upside? Is this kind of just finding maybe some structure in here and resume upwards, or at least kind of retest again the highs? Are you going to range a little bit or gaining momentum to one side or the other? Pound, right? Pound was another one. So we have been bullish, right? We have been bullish since basically price reacted from that low. So this was one of the targets that we were looking for. As you know, if you follow the previous stream, since basically we finally turned after the Bank of England interest rate decision, we have been bearish. All this has been compressed. This could be maybe one of the targets, but all this has been basically compressed, and this was one of the targets, right? Retesting this level. Now we are retesting basically the base of the demand. There's maybe something getting a little bit more into detail in there that could also be used, but this was a really good level for price to react from. We started breaking highs, compression, and there you go. We turned. This was last Friday, not yesterday, but the previous one. Reacted from there, and then you start having this manipulation in here, right? So there you go. This was a nice move. Price went to the upside, and then again, similarly on Thursday, really big momentum. That was another one that we've been looking for in here. Yeah, pretty big momentum, and price basically finished and reached the target, because the target to be, you can literally see the separation, right? You can see the separation basically between this level and this highs. So eventually the target from here to be kind of to fill all this structure, and you went all the way there, and you managed to respect it. And this is kind of a key zone in here, right? So if price had broken above it, maybe there's more room to the upside. This could be seen as an engulf upwards. Maybe you could even retest this level and then go higher. Now that it respected, or it didn't manage to break the high, a little bit more of a question mark now in terms of the engulf, if this is actually an engulf or not, right? It respected literally the extreme of the extreme in there. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, initially kind of respected something in here, but then it decided to make another leg up in there, and it decided to respect it. And this was a little bit of the same on the euro. I was literally expecting these highs to be taken during all this time, kind of to have a proper break above the high and then fake out. If that has happened, I would definitely look for that short opportunity, especially if we had broken kind of some low. So for example, something that I was looking for, so this is kind of Asian session, like 4 AM in the morning. Yeah, price could go, yeah, something like this could have been a good attempt. Then it could, I was actually expecting some kind of correction, move to downside on the NFP. But then actually I was expecting for price to maybe resume to move upwards. And maybe if we had that thing move upwards, maybe that could have happened. But since that never happened, now we move to the downside. Let's see, we are at this next level of structure, so we are literally respecting the next important key zone in here on the pound. And from here, it's going to be interesting to see if by any chance price is going to correct, go higher again, or not. Again, I would be much more bullish if we had broken that high. We didn't. We respected it. So, yeah, let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen next in here? We may approach this something in here. This was a zone in here on the pound, very similar to the euro. Where are we? Yeah, a little bit similar maybe to the euro. Maybe I could react from this SR. Didn't react from the demand zone. So let's see. This was kind of Thursday, I think. Let's see how price is going to react from there. Like we have this end of compression. Price turns in here, so something in there can be interesting. Maybe look for a reaction, which is something in here. So price may go a little bit lower. We need to see how price is going to react from there. There's any turn or not. We have this level in here. We have this level in there as well to look for. So yep, just two levels in here on the pound. Different information if you respect one or respect the other. So yep, let's see what may happen. Also matters to look at to the left side and see maybe where was some kind of demand zone that should have respected price and didn't. This one is in alignment with structure, so maybe something in here can be interesting. Yeah, let's see a little bit of this level, and yeah, this level in here can be interesting. Aside from that, a lot of this has been compressed. Maybe there's something in there, but a lot of it has been compressed in here. Is there anything below this low that maybe can go to? Perhaps there's something in there on the pound that we can go and react from. So let's see what the pound is going to do. Yep. Let's see how it opens. It could open a little bit more to the downside. It could retrace a little bit around here during around the London Open, and either in here or in here we can maybe have a continuation to the downside. The momentum was quite strong, maybe until you finally reach maybe this level. If you start reaching this level, maybe the move can be the opposite and maybe can actually go higher. Now this demand zone can actually be quite interesting in here. Right, something in there can be really interesting. So yeah, it's about to see how price is going to open, where the walls are going to be reacting from, and yeah, based on that, London Open, we may have another continuation to the downside if price is by any chance somewhere in here, or if price just continues to move down, we may have a little bit of a correction to the upside. Yeah, it's kind of going to be the game plan for next Monday. Bigger picture, and then we'll kind of reassess, because again, there are some moments when you are looking at the market that you have a clear target where you want to go to. For example, this one, retesting this level of structure, it's a target that you are looking for when price is starting to turn, right? Because of all these breaks of highs that you have, everything is compressed and so on and so forth. We have a target. Now, target has been reached. We didn't really break structure, so we need to kind of wait and see what may happens next. Now it's kind of price is in the middle, right? Comparing with these lows and these highs, price kind of is a little bit in the middle. So let's see what direction actually price wants to go to. We need to play now a little bit more of intraday levels than kind of actually looking for a weekly zone, right? That's something to be aware of, and managing your expectations as well accordingly based on that. Looking at euro pound. Right, the euro pound has been quite bearish as well, and we finally reached these walls, right? So maybe now there's an opportunity to look a little bit for a correction. Maybe if it is just a retest of this structure in here, but maybe there's opportunity in here on euro pound to look for a potential long, or at least some kind of correction or a retracement in here. Maybe something in there or something in here, before maybe continuing in even the move to the downside. Right, so we managed to break these highs yesterday. So there's maybe something in here at these lows that we can aim to go to or to look for a long. Now, is this level in here where the euro pound is going to pause, or going to eventually break new lows? Right, that's a potential. That's a possibility. We can actually try to see exactly the zone itself. Like, it's one of the last demand zones in here. Right, it's actually a nice zone in here, this demand, where actually price reacted from. So let's see. May go a little bit lower. There's maybe something in here with these left shoulders as well. So there's maybe that possibility, even if it's just to aim there, as long as you see maybe a good risk reward based on the entry and the first target, maybe you can aim for, and with luck maybe price can even go a little bit higher. Let's see what kind of PI price is going to offers, and depending chance if this wants to go higher, maybe pound dollar may wants to go a little bit lower. Yeah, let's take a look at and see what may happen. Or by any chance, if Euro index by any chance wants to go a little bit higher, maybe the Euro pound can help with that as well. Below that, then we start looking a little bit lower, below the lows. Like we need to start looking a little bit more to the left and try to see exactly what may be in here. So we have these lows in here that can be faked out eventually. There's our support resistance in there. Maybe it's something in here. Maybe there's something in there. Yep, maybe do you have this demand zone that price can actually go and also react from, right? Something in here based on this zone. We may have a Quasimodo in there, to be honest. Yeah, maybe you need to consider all this in here. Go away. All right, so yeah, we may have that level. It's actually quite nice, to be honest, and that would work as a fake out of all those lows. Go a little bit below this level, respect previous level support resistance, maybe have a little bit of a correction in here. And to be honest, now we need actually to consider a little bit this level in here. Yep, so we missed the move. Price may just react from the top of that. And can you go even lower time frame? You can even go lower time frame. Yeah, there's maybe something here, separation, that level kind of creates the zone. There you go. We have these KM zones in here. To be honest with you, maybe price already spiked with that wick from there. And yeah, that's why maybe the zone is a little bit higher. So maybe something in there can be the zone. There you go. Maybe found now a good level on the Euro pound in alignment with this level. Below these lows, that price could eventually have some kind of reaction, right? Meanwhile, we may have a little bit of a correction first in here, still within this level. Last time we came here, it was December last year. So let's see, and last time we came here, it was August last year. Yeah, so that's Euro pound, Aussie dollar, right? So Aussie correction as well. So we have been looking for that possibility to start breaking some highs, right? That's something that we start noticing, compressing, a lot of compression, and then something as we have been mentioning, something that we want to see, right, is starting to have this big momentum, right? We want to, as price is moving down, all of a sudden you want to see some kind of momentum to the upside with a good candle, which really already kind of scare all these sellers. Then there's usually this first move to the upside is going to be the left shoulder that eventually is going to be used in the future. So price is going to target this low just to fake out it one more time, and now you can use now this left shoulder track liquidity, because now you attract liquidity into this demand zone. It's faked out, and now maybe you finally have the move, especially if this one broke structure on the left side. So that's a good sign, and there you go. Right, so then compression, you finally turn. It was at around the same time as Euro dollar, Wednesday in the afternoon. Price just turned. There was not exactly much opportunity to catch the move to the bottom. Now, something that I regretted was on Thursday, because I was more focused on the Euro and the pound, and I ignored the Aussie, and the Aussie actually was the one that reacted precisely from the demand on Thursday, before the big rally that we had Thursday, right? So in this case, Aussie actually reacted from the zone itself. Beautiful demand with even the left shoulder, and yeah, I was more focused, which was focused on the Euro on the pound, and I ignored this one. And in here, there's literally confirmation, price action, what kind of price reaction from a good level. Somewhere in here, you could have tried to look for a long in there. Yep. Eventually price can go maybe a little bit lower, can even go in here as well. So that's something that price eventually can go and react from. can even go now and react eventually from here as well. But yeah, on Thursday, this was, yeah, between Europe, maybe Euro Aussie and pound. Maybe the Aussie was, yeah, maybe the best entry. It could have been there. It was super volatile, kind of super trending as well. Not looking back, just a pure trend until finally we kind of pausing here. Actually, pausing here first and then kind of continuation. Yeah, Aussie was a bit different, right? In Aussie, there was a bit more of volatility in here. Yeah, I was looking a little bit higher with the news. So let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, again, yesterday was more focused on the euro and pound. I've been more focused on the euro and the pound dollar, not so much on the Aussie. And the Aussie actually was the one that provided better PA. Break of a low with the news, back out, retest of this level, and then eventually price now is moving lower. It may go on all the way until there. Maybe that's where we are aiming to. And this next level of structure on the Aussie. Good reaction. We fake out this high, kind of a little bit of a reaction here from this previous level of support resistance, as you can see. So let's see what's going to happen next on the Aussie. Are we going to continue to move higher? Are we going to start moving down from here? Is this the last zone? This low? Are you eventually going to aim a little bit more closer to that man zone? That's an interesting zone. Something in here can still work as a sell if price does indeed wants to get closer to here. So, yep, by any chance if price wants to go a little bit lower, closer again, retrace one more time, maybe do that. So maybe taking that low. Something in here can have some kind of reaction. Yeah, and then in here as well can be interesting. Again, the approach is going to matter. How price is going to get to those levels. But yeah, yeah, this Aussie was the one with better PI to trade. Euro Aussie, just the opposite, moving down. What's next on the Euro Aussie? We may go all the way through. So we just took these lows in here. We are kind of reacting from, we may get really close to the extreme in here. May have this demand zone, or it can go even lower. So let's see what's going to happen on the Euro Aussie. Are we reacting from here? Yeah, we're reacting from there. We may go a little bit lower. And we may continue to move, actually to move down. Let's see if we even take this high, take this low. Maybe react from something in there before a turn. Again, how this move to downside, it has helped also the euro to move over to the euro index to move down. Yeah, curious to see how price is going to react somewhere in there or in here. Yeah, pay attention to this one as well in regards to the Aussie dollar. Then we have the yen, right? The yen, dollar yen, quite interesting. So good reaction from there. Again, if you align these reactions in here, and so on with the yen index, they are really good. Just compare and take a look at it. Even though actually the dollar yen also, it was quite strong, or quite correlated with the dollar, right? There was a lot of move on the dollar. The dollar yen has been moved quite nicely from there. So yes, nice reaction from that zone on the left. It was still fresh, so we had that. And what was the target? Next demand zone. As simple as that. Everything in between has been compressed. We had already taken this low. More lows in here, compressed in there. We had taken these lows also. A little bit of this demand, it was still fresh. Price paused a little bit in there until finally we broke the low. Again, this is kind of a zone to move that we had in there. And then price finally creates some momentum, goes all the way to the target. It was this demand. It was with some kind of news that occurred. It was just a spike, and after that price just pauses. Now this pattern in here, it looks like it's Bitcoin, now kind of a crypto kind of a move, right? We have this level, pick out the lows, take the highs, react kind of from the left shoulder, and move to the upside. That was during the news that we had kind of that fake out. I didn't really react from the extreme. Yeah, so we had that move to the upside from here since we reacted from this target, and you may go higher. If the yen index is about to break those lows, we may continue to move to the upside on the dollar yen. So let's see what's going to happen as well. If the dollar is going to continue to move higher, we may have this dollar yen continue to move higher. We may go higher than that. There's maybe something in here, but eventually you can even go all the way to this double top. Looking at the bigger picture from this move in here, should we expect this dollar yen to pause in here, or should we expect maybe dollar yen to go a little bit higher and maybe starting getting closer to here, right? That's kind of one of the questions. It doesn't mean that price is going to just move in a straight line, but that's one of the questions, right? So that's the level that it's been reacting from now. In here, this has been kind of already reacted from. So let's see. There's maybe some other reactions in there regarding to the interventions that I mentioned before. So this was one of those, right? The first one at around 145. Actually predicted that move quite nicely last year, and then this was the other one, like at around 151, almost 152. That was kind of another one, and then kind of there was another one happening almost straight afterwards, and there you go. We had finally the yen moving to the opposite side. So you may have still this supply in here. This can be maybe a massive zone to look for a big reversal on the yen whenever it gets there, really close to this first level at 140, in this case 146. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see if by any chance the yen is going to get there. This was a big sell-off that occurred. Yeah, I don't really remember what happened in here back in November, but something happened. Was it CPI? Maybe? There is some CPI data. And since then we had just a complete sell-off in here. Or was it with the odds in the Japan? I don't remember. So yeah, maybe there's more room to the upside on the dollar yen, getting a little bit closer to those levels until maybe have a turn in here. Now, what time frame? Yeah, we can try to look for something in there. Or really strong move to the upside. You kind of have this structure in here. Yeah, I want to see maybe price getting a little bit more closer to the extremes. Now the other yen pairs, it's a bit different, right? So we have pound yen. Pound yen, we respected this level, so just continue to move higher. We are literally touching this high, the extreme. That's kind of where we are right now. Second. Which time frame am I? Oh, it's too much now. Damn it. Okay, so this is where we are. Price reacting from there. There's maybe a zone a little bit above it. Something in here. Again, I cannot really go. Okay, I can go into the 4-hour time frame. So we have maybe this supply level, and then maybe have the next one. This is the high that everyone can see. This is where kind of price is reacting right now. We may take this high. That may be something that it's going to happen, and we may go a little bit closer to this supply level. May have some kind of reaction from there. It has been compressing quite a lot. Not the best yen pair to trade for this last couple of weeks. Super compressing, kind of super ranging. Looks like almost as a exotic pair. So let's see. Being patient with this one until maybe price goes a little bit higher. Euro yen, quite different, right? So Euro yen, it got really close to the. We reacted from those highs. Now remember that in the bigger picture you may see this one as an engulf down, so we may actually have maybe something like this happening. Move to downside happened, and we kind of reached one of the first targets, which was below this compression. So that first move has happened. We actually managed to break below it. So this, for the bigger picture, can be actually seen as an engulf down because it broke below these lows, right? Now, bigger picture, I'm still a big fan of a zone above this highs, where actually price kind of reacted from. So my wishful thought, it would be eventually for price to continue to have a deep retracement, even go all the way above these highs, eventually kind of turn a little bit, kind of compress a little bit, and eventually do something like this, and you know this range, and then eventually completely and go all the way until there, right? So that would be a little bit of my wishful thought. I don't know if it's going to compress so much like that, but eventually to get closer again to that level, in particular those levels. Now we are compressing a lot as well on the downside. We are reacting from this structure in here. Yeah, so we may break it, may then respect it. We may go even all the way back again in here, take these lows, and then maybe go higher again. Let's see what the euro yen is going to do. There was a really good opportunity to sell and to maybe fill this range, in this case this one, this week. But yeah, my favorite to be still a little bit higher than that. And then you have Aussie yen, right? So we know that, again, we're looking for this specific target. It has been the target for quite a few weeks now. It was exactly this level for this short opportunity, since we broke kind of these lows. Even when price was here, we're still looking for that sell. Price reacted from there, good level, and that was the target for the sales. Price reacted perfectly and just move higher, right? Since we respected this level, eventually now expect these highs to be taken. If you break below this, then it's maybe more room to downside. So that space was worked, like really nice target that you had in mind, and there you go. We fake out now these highs, and I had this level for a while now as well, and it's quite nice. It's actually a supply level that price was still left behind. So just to read something in here. Right, so we had the supply, this high never touched from here, so we have now the reaction from here. Now, is this going to be the last zone, or by any chance we're going to continue to have the yen going a little bit higher, maybe taking these highs before maybe moving a little bit more to the downside? Maybe we're going to have that. This is a kind of scene like this. It's a good demand zone. Again, demand zone in there. We may go higher. We may have a reaction from here. May then have a reaction from there. May even take these highs eventually. And we need to start looking for price to go. Just do it this. For price maybe to go a little bit higher. Maybe something there. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. On the Aussie yen, it's been quite volatile. Yep, it has been quite volatile. Let's see. We may have a correction here. Maybe price can go all the way until this level. So that may be a sort of opportunity even for when price opens. If it opens somewhere in here, we may go all the way to fill this compression into this demand zone. And then let's see if it continues to go higher. Yeah, we may have a sell opportunity in here, and from here we may go long again. Is there anything in here? Don't have data. Okay. All right, for the N pairs, CAD, really big move to the downside. Reacted from there. We had broken those lows. Yep, reacted downside. How this move was kind of in alignment with the strong move to downside on oil, to the upside on oil. All right, we really got really good reaction from there. We're looking for that already last Friday. Perfect. Went all the way down. Is price going to pause in here? I'm not really sure. I think price wants to go a little bit lower, and from here maybe we can start having some kind of correction. Or price may want to go all the way down, or eventually finally maybe take these lows. So let's see. Again, CAD has been ranging quite a lot. All right, so let's see. We do have this demand zone underneath that. I was looking for price maybe to go a little bit in there. I didn't really touch my zone to sell it. It's kind of in a range in here. it may still respect that level and then maybe drop, or can go a little bit higher in there. Just two zones in here, which were kind of a little bit maybe valid demand zones, in particular this one that price should have respected and it didn't. So maybe in the future can work a little bit as a sell. It may create a little bit of a range in here, attract more sales in here until finally maybe have a little bit of a move and maybe continuation to the downside. We'll see what's going to happen on CAD. Something in there can be interesting at these lows. Question mark. Are we going to eventually just continue and take this level? Like before any team to go long, we kind of need at least to take this highs in here, and then maybe just go all the way until there before the resume to the downside. So let's see on CAD what's going to happen. Dollar franc Swiss. Dollar franc Swiss has been an interesting one as well. It took these highs, reacted a little bit higher than that. I was looking on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Again, another one similar to the euro and to the Aussie. It reversed, not looking back, just dropped. And there you go. Unfortunately, kind of pausing here. I was looking for that kind of fake out and then move down. That's where I'll be looking for the sell. It just stopped in here, paused, reacted from left shoulder and just continue. Dollar franc Swiss actually provided a good setup in here. Now I was looking for price to get a little bit lower in there. When price kind of is so far away from this range as well, a bit tricky for me to trade it. But if you just ignore everything in there, if you just look in here, yeah, this was a good setup to look for a long compression, break above it, react from the demand zone, go higher, keep having in here, even retest again from the demand after the news, kind of a pause in here, but then finally fake out, goes higher. So all this was a good setup. Let's see. Overall, bigger picture, it may look like we are reacting from a good zone. Maybe price is just going to continue to go higher. Maybe the dollar. Yeah, I think maybe on this dollar franc Swiss, we eventually from these lows, I think we may go all the way to retest maybe these highs. All right, maybe feel all this eventually compression. But meanwhile, I would love to have a deep retracement before that. Before all this move, I would love to have maybe deep retracement, because I still look at this demand zone below these lows as one that is still kind of fresh. Maybe there's still orders in there, and I would love to see price being attracted towards there, eventually filling out this compression, and eventually reacting from there, and then yes, then maybe going all the way there. Of course, not like this, right? So yeah, wishful thinking. That's kind of what I'm looking on dollar franc Swiss. So now we kind of reacted a little bit, took the orders from here. Are going to react a little bit in this level. Are going to fake out this high, maybe getting a little bit closer to this in here. Maybe can happen. We have all this structure in here, so also can be used as liquidity into where question mark in there. So let's see what's going to happen on dollar franc Swiss. Another compression here. Yeah, just try to go higher maybe before moving down, and then eventually can, yeah, if whenever the dollar maybe wants to go actually that big move down, we may go all the way into here, and then we can go higher. Gold was an interesting one. It was a beautiful zone where actually this low reacted from. So we took the lows, right? We took these lows. It was even a weekly move, if not mistaken. But if you actually look into detail into the war time frame, you see that this was the demand zone. None of those lows on the right reacted from it. So it was a beautiful level for where gold reacted from, and then kind of it reversed. On Thursday, I was looking actually for price to get to this demand zone, just took this low and kind of reversed. And this was a big question mark, right? Again, similar maybe to the pound. Are we going to break this high and then go down, or are we going to respect this high and go down? Without breaking it, we don't really have an engulf to the upside, which could then attempt to take gold to go higher. So it didn't really happen. So curious to see now what may happen. We have this level in here that none of these lows reacted from. And then we may have the extreme of the extreme in here. Now, let's see. How price is going to approach is going to be important. So far, it's quite strong. So we may have maybe initially a reaction from here, push price a little bit higher. We have maybe this next level in here, something in there that can then push price again lower until maybe we can push this code towards the lows. And let's see what happens next. Are you going to kind of reverse from here again, push upwards, or are you going to just resume the move to the downside, as we have been literally in this now bearish momentum? We took this low, and we may just continue to go lower, maybe even aiming towards that level. So that's going to be interesting to see. We may have a little bit of correction here, as I mentioned. This level can be interesting, but eventually we can go and resume the move down. In here is going to be a good question mark around this level. Since we respected this high, again, if it had broken to the upside, I may have completely turned out to look for really bullish setups in here to go higher, because we respected it and it can only just crashed. Yeah, it's good question mark to see what may happen in here on gold. It's the daily open. Right, yeah, let's see. Oil, yeah, good move. After such a negative momentum beginning of the week, then we turned. I think there's some kind of meeting going on this weekend, OPEC meeting, so let's see what's going to happen. Yep, really nice reaction. And there you go, move to the upside. When this happened was actually when CAD was just crashing, and now continuation to the upside. Let's see if eventually price gets to that maybe somewhere in here. None of these signs kind of reacted, and eventually to that $75 mark. That can also be interesting. And if you're going to start having price kind of ranging kind of in between this level, maybe between kind of 66 mark all the way to maybe 75, and we're going to have a little bit of a range in here. It's going to be interesting. Price compressing a little bit. There's maybe something below that, something in there, something in there. Yeah, just a few zones to pay attention to on oil. There's Bitcoin. Oh, it's here. BTC, right? What we have? Bigger picture, smaller lower time frame. Yes, interesting. We fake out we kind of took this highs. If you actually pay attention to where actually this high reacted from, it was a great zone, because none of these highs actually reacted from that level. Those highs maybe have reacted from this low, but the level itself, it was in there. So you need always to pay attention to it, especially when you already have double tops or bottoms. You start looking into the lower time frame and you see that this is the level that is still fresh, right? Neither this high or this high reacted from there, and there you go. That's kind of where now price reacted. In here, it's a beautiful zone as well, below this low. Really interesting demand zone that was where are we? That we are here. So nice zone in there. Now, bigger picture, this may be seen as an angle to the upside, okay? Because we actually took this highs, so this may happen. Question mark now is where is maybe price going to go under test from before continuing to move higher. This can be an interesting one where just price reacted now. There is even the possibility that price can go all the way down, even take this above low and actually react from here, right? This was a previous level of support resistance, quite strong at around this 25 mark in here, and now we have actually this double bottom, can create enough liquidity. We have maybe the first move upwards. Eventually we could go higher, but maybe before that we may just go down. We can even maybe take this level, react from here, resume the move down, eventually go, continue, have a little bit of a reaction, and maybe, oh, it's too much. Yep, whatever it may be, a little bit of a reaction, fast spike, and kind of create, damn it, okay. Just create that typical pattern. You have a right shoulder, go higher, go down, then in here, tau, and go, and maybe resume to move higher, and now take this size. So that's a possibility in the higher time frame, if buyers want to take these bubbles. This level, yes, was good. There's maybe something in here that price can still respect. If by any chance wants to go up higher from here, we have something in here that price can react from. It's already reacted from here, kind of reacting from here as well. Yep, to be interesting to see price maybe breaking this highs, going there, but maybe first could go a little bit down, do that as well. Let's see, this is in case price doesn't want to maybe go below this low, and something like this could happen. And that level first, and then maybe can aim all the way to the highs. Yeah, it's just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. And then Ethereum, right? Ethereum, we have been, yep, reacted from there. We took the highs. This actually is my demand zone, kind of what I'm looking for. Is it will be there eventually. So I would like to actually see this. Maybe this was being taken into there, and maybe price could go higher. Price missed that level. Respected now this one. Yeah, let's see. Let's see if we manage to break above these highs and start aiming a little bit more to the upside in here. So yeah, that can go a little bit in alignment with Bitcoin. Yep. All right. Yeah, intraday. Let's see. For the weekend, there. Yeah, but this was a little bit more of my zone. Okay. Yeah, that's it. There isn't that big news over next week. There's going to be maybe, I think, interest rate decision in Australia, which is interesting because the CPI has been increasing, the inflation has been increasing. The last data that came out, 6.8, I believe. So let's see what they're going to do there. Maybe another hike expected to push the interest rate maybe to 4% or slightly above 4%. And then you also have interest rate in Canada, but they have been unchanged for the last two meetings, so most likely it's going to continue. And those are basically the biggest ones. Maybe you have some manufacturing or services PMI in the US. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen next week. I'm looking forward to it. New month as well. So yeah, wishing everyone a great month of June. Trading and not only. Yeah, I'll see you next Saturday, guys. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe if you haven't done so. Yeah, have a good one. Bye bye. Thank you.